Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Lynn Life. Well, it's the day after Christmas. I know a lot of people have been posting on Facebook and in other places of what they've got for Christmas, And I got a lot of wonderful things. Lynn got a lot of wonderful things. Our son Justin got a lot of wonderful things that he wanted. And I got one thing that's very special to me. And it was given to me by my son. And it's this: the G.I. Joe Masterpiece Edition. Because G.I. Joe was my favorite toy when I was a kid. And I still have them. And they're right over here. But I want to talk more about what this is and why it's so special. And G.I. Joes in general. So let's get going.
My name is Jonathan, and I'm a caregiver for my wife Lynn, who has a permanent brain injury. Things are a bit different now, but we're doing the best that we can. Join us as we experience the Lynn Life.
So I'm up here in my model railroad room, where I also display my original G.I. Joes up here that I got in the mid-60s. G.I. Joe came out in 1964. I don't know if I got him exactly in 64. I might have been a little young. Probably got him in 65. Got them both I have two, and I got them both for Christmas. Not the same Christmas. I got one year and another one the next year. My second one was the German version, which I have here. He was part of the what do they call it? Soldiers of the World, I think. Yeah, Soldiers of the World group. They were more rare. Didn't have as many of those. There was a German one. There was a Japanese one. He had a different head too. His head was different. The Japanese one had a different head as well. But he's special. Neither one are wearing their original clothing anymore, even though I do have it. I did a video on them before. I'll put the link down below if you want to watch all that. And the Jeep. That's an original Jeep and everything. But what I got this year is from 1994. 30 years later, the 30th anniversary of those G.I. Joes, they released this, the Masterpiece Edition. And inside, which I'll show you here if I can get it, is a hardcover book written by Don Levine, who was the original creator of G.I. Joe. He was, I think he was the head of research and development or something for Hasbro. Unfortunately, he has passed away since. I looked it up. But he's the one that basically created it. And I thumbed through the book. It's very, very interesting. And I can't wait to read it from cover to cover. But it also included a figure. And he was created 30 years later for the 30th anniversary. And what makes this interesting is this year marks the 60th anniversary. So this figure here is now as old as the originals were when he came out. He's kind of an antique now. So Justin bought this on eBay, and because when it came to Christmas this year, he'd always ask me, "What do you want? What do you want?" I never know what to get you. And I said, I want to be surprised. I don't want to tell you what I want. I just want, you know me, I'm interested in a lot of different things. And I want to be surprised like I was when I was a kid. And maybe get me something fun. Maybe even a toy. I don't care, something. So apparently he thought about it for quite a while, and he nailed it with this thing. He nailed it. And this year, 2024, was the 60th anniversary of G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe, fighting man from head to toe, on the land, on the sea, in the air.
G.I. Joe attack! Boom, boom! G.I. Joe takes battle! Bam, bam! Terrific battle!
Terrific equipment to have a battle with. When you get G.I. Joe and the authentic G.I. Joe equipment, you'll have the greatest realism, the greatest fun you ever had in playing soldier. Box after box of authentic uniforms and equipment, so you can change your G.I. Joe soldier into a camouflage Marine ready for battle, a Navy frogman with complete scuba suit and inflatable life raft, an Air Force pilot with high-altitude helmet and air vest. Get G.I. Joe and get G.I. Joe equipment so you can set up exciting battle action whenever you want. Remember, only G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe.
I had to put the old commercial in there because I used to sing that song when I was a kid. You know, the G.I. Joe, the fighting man from head to toe. I used to sing that, brought back tons of memories when I found it on YouTube. I had to find it. But let me read to you a little bit about the character, the doll in here, what it says. It breaks it down. It says about the book, tells about the book and about the G.I. Joe. It says this G.I. Joe is an accurate and authentic reproduction of the 1964 original, now available for the first time in over 30 years, and officially authorized by Hasbro. The head and face of this G.I. Joe collectible were mastered from the originals taken from the 1964 roto mold. Every G.I. Joe head in this masterpiece collection originates from the long lost, never used master. This head is authentic to the 1964 version in every sense. The entire figure is faithfully copied from an engineering sample from the private collection of Don Levine. It has been carefully researched and reproduced to the exact standards of both Don Levine and a team of G.I. Joe collectors. What makes it so cool is that those original G.I. Joes up there I received at Christmas 30 years or 60 years later, approximately. I got one again for Christmas. Very cool. Now, this one was the 30th anniversary. This year, 2024, marks the 60th anniversary. So this guy is as old as the originals were when he was created. So that's neat. So cool. I love G.I. Joe. Now here are some of the facts I want to tell you about. The original 12-inch G.I. Joe was introduced in February 2nd of 1964, and it was centered on a realistic action figure. The conventional marketing wisdom back in the 60s was that boys would never play with dolls, and that parents would never buy their son a doll, period. So the word doll was never used by Hasbro. They adopted the term action figure. G.I. Joe was the first action figure. Now, originally, Hasbro had three names. It was Rocky, Skip, and Ace. I think Rocky was the traditional Marine or Army man, and Ace was he the? I think he was the pilot, and Skip was the frogman. But then they adapted the universal name of GI Joe. You know, GI meaning government issue in World War II, and they started calling everybody involved with, you know, all the soldiers GIs. So they used that because that's what the GI Joe originally was. He was really a World War II fighting man. You know, they called him America's movable fighting man. From about 64 to 69, he was the fighting man. And then he changed a little bit. He changed to more of an adventure type guy, you know, not war so much. I think it had a lot to do with the Vietnam War going on at the time. But I was always interested in that first line from 64 to 69. After 69, I started aging out of G.I. Joe. Still played with them. I didn't get any more G.I. Joe stuff, though. I used the one, you know, what I already had. And as I got older, especially in the early 70s, I beat the crap out of them. I used to have all kinds of adventures on them. I remember one thing in particular, and if my sister Sue is watching, maybe she'll remember. Both my sisters had Barbies, and I took, well, they get all the different Barbie stuff. And one time they got a snowmobile, which looked nothing like a snowmobile, really. It looked like a bobsled. And it had skis, the full length of the thing. There was no track or anything. It was just, they called it a snowmobile. But Barbie stuff and G.I. Joe stuff, they were the same size. So I could stick my G.I. Joe inside that thing. And one time we had it was snowy. You know, we always had a lot of snow. But the snow had a crust on it. So you could like walk on top of it. It was pretty icy. And I got the idea, hey, let me put my G.I. Joe in this thing and slide him down the hill out behind our house. I want to see. And I did that. And of course, there was always a crash at the end. And one time I found a drift that was frozen solid. It was kind of underneath a tree or a little bush or something. And I let him go, and he hit that jump, and he flew up in the air, and his head hit a branch. And it didn't knock his head off or anything, but it knocked him out of the snowmobile, and the snowmobile and him went sliding down the rest of the way. It was spectacular. And that was the type of things that I was doing when I got older. Once I was like 10, 11 years old, I was beating the heck out of them. So that's why a lot of these guys didn't survive. Mine did. I had to replace the arm recently on one of them because it was missing, and they're pretty beat up. But this new one is pristine, and he looks just like the original. Here's a picture of one of the originals, the way he would have come, and then of course here's the new guy that I got. And I'm not keeping him in this box. I'm going to keep the box. Of course, the book and everything. I will display that box. But the guy is not staying in there. I know some of you collectors out there go, oh, no, you got to keep him in there. And I don't care about value. I don't care about that. These guys were meant to be handled. And he's my new Christmas present. And I'm taking him out. I'm going to take him out, and I'm going to display him up there with the other two. And I have an original M1 rifle up there. That was mine. And I'm going to put it in his hands. And that's what he's gonna sit up there. I do have to order a little stand. There's these little wire stands that are great that hook around your waist. You don't even see them. The German guy up there actually has one, and I'm going to order one of those today and display them up there when I get that, and I'll enjoy that. I like looking at them. I also have Hot Wheels over here and stuff like that. I did a video on that as well. I enjoy my old toys. I enjoy being surrounded by my old stuff. It makes me feel good. I like it. So that's what I do. I also looked up some old advertising from G.I. Joe, and I have some of those as well. Um, I enjoy advertising. I like vintage advertising. I love history. So these guys, my old toys and stuff like that, are a mixture of that. They're my old toys, which I enjoy, as well as I enjoy the history behind them. And now that I'm a bit older, these toys are all antiques, and it's very cool. So my son definitely hit it out of the park this year for Christmas. I really enjoy it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little video about G.I. Joe. I know I enjoyed putting it together. I had no idea what I was going to do this week until I got this. And I said, oh, this is a perfect thing to do a video on right now. And so I decided that's what I was going to do. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on The Limb.